Connor, and I'm going to be cooking for you a red wine and rosemary risotto with breaded chicken, along with my lovely assistant, Mr. Ian Boyle, sous chef. Hello. Cooking for me was always something that my dad did. My mom is definitely a good cook, but she cooks practically, like, you know, to make food in a certain amount of time, you know, busy lives, such and stuff. And I always remember my dad being the one who kind of cooked for enjoyment. When I went to college, he actually gave me my first set of cooking supplies because I told him that I wanted to start to learn how to cook, and so I started teaching myself after I came to college. The most important thing that I learned from both my parents was flavor. You know, the way that I cook, my food tastes a lot like theirs does, but I use a lot more wine. So I had this, like, I call it my wedding dress moment. You know how, you know, people will like go online and just search for like that one thing. Like they can't afford it, they're not ready to have it yet, but they want it. Mm-hmm. You know, like some girls plan out their wedding dress. I actually planned out culinary school for myself. I looked up how much it would cost to go to culinary school. Oh. I'm so hungry.
So thank you very much for cooking this for us, and thank you for letting me talk to you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
My name is Ashley Haynes, and I'm a senior varsity volleyball player at Ohio Wesleyan, and I'm here to talk to you about food and team. You see one side of your teammates on the floor and on the court, you know, and then you see a completely different side. I know I act totally differently from a school setting versus team setting in the court, and then team setting where we're like bonding over a meal. I act so much more like laid back. I feel like everybody can kind of see everybody's other colors, and it's different. You get to see different sides of people, and it helps you really mend together and come together, and it's fun, and you can be crazy, and it's hilarious. And obviously, like I said before, you know, you bond over food. Who hates food? No one. So it's fun. Every culture in general, when you have big gatherings, you have food. So, you know, like, you bond over food. I notice a huge difference when I don't eat healthy. It's definitely important to keep like the nutrition aspects in mind, just because your body will take out what it needs.
We're aiming for a nutritious team meal.
Food is fuel. Carbs are super good for before big matches, and I know we like to do team dinners before big matches because that stocks you up on like sustainable energies during a match. Even if it's not like a caloric difference, it's a huge energy level difference. I think it's really important just because it shows like how much you care about your teammates. You want them to be successful, and food is fuel, so you want their bodies to be prepared for whatever they're about to do. So I don't know, you gain a different level of respect for people when you see them in a different habitat. That translates back onto the court. You hang out with your team, you bond with your team, you're there with them off the court, on the court, eating food, sleeping, you know, you're there with them all the time. But I really like when people make that effort because it shows that they're dedicated to their teammates in different aspects, like eating, not just one practice, because you kind of have to be in the practice. So I like when people make that effort, even if it's inconvenient for them. You know, it's just completely relaxed and you don't have to worry about anything. So that's what sets it apart, I think, is just like so chill and so, it's like a happy time. It really is.
How's your team dinner, Em?
Great. Woohoo!
Yeah. Bridget, how's your dinner?
Amazing.
Thanks. Can I have another positive? Yeah.
Healthy.
Hi, Danielle.
That's what I want to hear.
What's your name?
My name is Jack Kabecki.
Alright. What are you going to be cooking for us tonight, Jack?
I'm going to be making you guys some mac and cheese with a homemade cheese sauce from scratch.
Alright, Jack. Well, like a good chef, you brought all your tools, we've got the ingredients, so let's get started.
Yeah. My family runs and owns and operates a business called Charlie's Family Barbecue. Originally established up in Woodland Bay, Ohio. Right now I'm boiling some water with a little, then I'm going to add olive oil to it so the noodles don't stick together.
How many noodles do you think we'll end up with?
That's a 10-pound bag of dry noodles. There's going to be a lot. So I had to tweak the recipe a little bit myself because I'm used to cooking two ways. Enough for just a couple of people and enough for a shit ton of people. I'm somewhere in between right now. Like you can barely see the water on the inside, and that's how you know they're done. Just a little Polish ingenuity there. Just straining the noodles and putting them in the individual pans they're going to be in. You got to melt the butter to get anywhere. You add 2 sticks of butter, and you melt them. Sounds simple enough, right? There's 2 things that make food better. Fat and salt. Now, it's not necessarily the healthiest of things, so you don't use it all the time, but the richer the food, usually the more you like it. I add the flour and salt mixture, little by little. Now I'm going to be adding all of this, so it's going to be really cheesy mac and cheese. Large 5-pound bag of mozzarella and 2 pounds of Kojak cheese.
So is there any trick to the pour?
No, not necessarily. I'm just trying to keep it about as even as I can before I mix them together. Now the next part people get a little queasy about because I'm going to be using my hands, which by the way are clean.
We have finished our mac and cheese dish. Thank you, Iron Chef Jack, for providing us with some sustenance. So, the mac and cheese has been tried. Scale of 1 to 10. What do you think?
8 or 9. 8 or 8. The Jack and cheese is the best. It's the best.
Nah, that ain't cheesy. This is. Hold on. Shh.
So, where do you learn how to bake?
I learned how to bake in my parents' kitchen with my mom and my dad, and it was something that we could do together that I enjoyed doing. And the first time I remember baking on my own was probably like 10 or 11, and I was at my aunt's house for the day because my parents were both working and my brother and sister were busy. So I went over to my aunt's house and she was like, "Here, make some chocolate chip cookies."
How many people in your family bake, cook, make food?
Everyone in my family. My mom, my dad, my brother, my sister.
So, it sounds like food kind of has a familial history to you. So what is like one of your best cooking memories?
Ooh, that's hard, because there's a lot. Honestly, like that's what my dad and I like to do together is cook. So like making, like I grew up making cookies with my mom, making like pizza with my dad, or making homemade pasta. I did that for like my 11th birthday.
Really? So what are your favorite line about baking things?
My brother's baking thing is red velvet cupcakes.
Ooh.
Yeah. He learned to make them because they are his fiance's favorite.
What kind of events do you bake for?
I bake for, like I said, Christmas. I help my dad bake pies for Thanksgiving. That's a huge thing. He is the pie man in the family. We have a family Thanksgiving get together. We have one at our house, and then we go to another one for both sides of the family.
Okay.
And he makes pies for both. He also makes the whole Thanksgiving dinner for my mom's side. So cooking is his hobby. It's his passion. So I grew up in a foodie household. I would say probably one of my best baking memories, though. I don't know. It's kind of like a general memory of my childhood. Like that was just something I did. But I would say my proudest was definitely making sugar cookies for my sister's bridal showers, because I personalized them to her and her husband to be at the time. I put flowers on the cookies that were the colors that they were using for their wedding. I put their initials on some of the cookies.
So what does food mean in your family?
In my family, I would say food means it's just a part of everything. When we have a get-together, it's what are we going to have to eat? It's very much a way of showing love. It's very much a comfort thing.
Hi, I'm Hannah Walls. I am a vegetarian now. I made that change in like 7th grade. What, like 8-9 years?
Alright. Do you find being here at OWU that it's hard to find vegetarian options? Are you satisfied with
No, it's not hard because they have veggie burgers every day in Hamwell. There's always a vegetarian option. They have the veggie sushi and there's salad bars everywhere, so that's pretty easy.
Do you wish they had more options?
No, I'd say I'm pretty satisfied with what we have.
You ever tried going vegan?
I did try that actually for about 2 months this summer. I went vegan and it wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be, although I do work at an ice cream place and the fact that I could not eat ice cream was a little difficult.
You choose to become a vegetarian?
My mom was a vegetarian ever since she's been in college. So she kind of influenced me, but probably like 6th or 7th grade I just started getting grossed out by meat and gradually stopped eating it. The last thing I gave up were junior bacon cheeseburgers. I've loved baking ever since I was a little girl with my mom, so she kind of got me started probably as soon as I was old enough to. I started baking by myself. So. Baking. Today we're going to have pumpkin muffins with a cream cheese filling and cinnamon streusel topping. Get excited. Alright, now after we've made the cream filling and the streusel topping, we're now going to make the actual muffin. Step 1, preheat the oven. I know this is the oven, but like this is the oven. So I need 2 cups of this. I could probably eat this stuff plain, I'm not gonna lie.
It sounds really good.
How much? 2 cups? Oh, maybe we didn't need to buy 2 of these. Looks like baby food. So, like, these don't really need to look perfect because they're just gonna get all melty when they bake anyways.
Melty and yummy.
As long as they're in there, it's good. We were supposed to let this harden in the refrigerator for 2 hours, but I felt 20 minutes was it. Yum! Sweet baby Jesus, these are good.
What's up, guys? I was wondering, making a video for my documentary film class, I was wondering if you would perchance like to be in my filming for this week. I thought it was really interesting, like, how food and romance play together, and I thought, like, you'd have some interesting stories on that, or at least some interesting points of view on that, and we could just, like, talk about that and, like, go eat at, like, J Gumbo or something. Okay, and everything.
Yeah, 4 I could do.
Okay, cool. I'll see you at 4 then.
Alright, just text me.
Okay, will do. Bye.
One of the earliest dates that Susie, my current girlfriend, and I went on was to Dragon House. And it was always weird, because Dragon House has always been this delivery place in my mind. And I forget that they have like a sit-down and eat restaurant. So we go there, and this is, you know, in the earliest iterations. So like we're very nervous. Chill for a minute, and then she brings us back to our table, and the restaurant's empty, like, because no one goes there. And I sit nearest to the wall on my side of the table. Susie sits nearest to the aisle on her side of the table. So we're staring diagonally at each other. And she gets mad at me because of what I've done. So, because I'm an asshat, I got up and moved next to her. So both she and I are occupying 1/2 of the gross. And the waitress just comes back and goes, "Oh, okay." That was like in the summer when we first started dating, and then when we got back to school, because I'm that mushy kind of asshole, the first thing I wanted to do was take Susie to Dragon House. And it's the first date of our relationship again. So, and I made sure I sat across from her this time to prevent any awkwardness. Having that initial awkward story, and then coming back and having a quasi-romantic dinner date, it was kind of like this grand moving on gesture, as you said. And like when she visited me in Atlanta, and when I visited her in New York, we both made a point of taking each other to our favorite like dinner joints. Oh, nice. Food places. Because, you know, why not? Like, food is a big part of our lives. So we wanted to take them to the places that, you know, were cool.
Number 2 corn. The corn that's turned into everything else.
What's your name?
I'm Leif Savitz. Our, agricultural policies are, very anti-small farmer. They're subsidized in such a way as to heavily promote industrial farming and the agribusiness corporations themselves. Instead of sustaining a whole ecosystem from the microorganism to the plant to the animal, you create an artificial, almost laboratory using your soil. Things don't really live in the soil when you drench them with all these chemicals. Earthworms take many years to return. And nitrogen, those die out so that your plants actually need what you're giving them. As for sustainability, I'll be surprised if it lasts my lifetime. I had a friend once who said that around here it's a growing culture. Everyone grows something. And those of us who are a little farther out grow a little more. There are people who grow all their summer vegetables in a pretty small spot. It's just part of the culture. Though I will say it's dying out. That the newer generation doesn't know much about growing plants. Largely they move away, and even those that stay around don't really pick up the old practices. And what we still have is really only a remnant of what used to be. That comes back to the stigmatizing of farm culture. Farming is considered a base or a low job, or it's almost worse than dishwashing. If you're smart, why would you farm? It doesn't make you money. It's a lot of hard work, meaning you're not working 9 to 5, you're working 9 to 9.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Our political and our cultural viewpoint in relationship to agriculture is so distant and contrived that I really don't see us pulling ourselves back from our own destruction, in the sense that I think things will get a lot worse before they get better.
We had a garden in our backyard, pretty big garden. So we had, like, for dinner a lot of times they grew corn on the cob, and they would make like 20 ears of corn, and 4 of us would divvy it up, and we'd eat corn, tomatoes, all that stuff. Yeah, we grow tomatoes. That's pretty much it. We don't have a big enough yard. Grow tomatoes and jalapenos, and I grow like herbs. And I still make, we always have like meat, a vegetable, and some kind of side dish. And I have a lot of my mom's recipes. Shoot, lately I husk it and I put it in foil with a little bit of butter and salt and put it on the grill when I'm cooking on the grill, and it's so good.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's really good. I usually would just boil it, a little, steam it in water. But yeah, we had that last night. I love my job. No, I love this job here. This is good. I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with the food. It has to do with all you guys.
Great.
That's pretty much it. Because this food, I usually pack my lunch. No offense to this food, it's good. But before I worked here, I used to make it over in Hamwell for like 8 years. I've worked here 19 years.
Wow.
Going on 19 years. So I've been here probably like 10 years. And over there, I made this stuff. And I just have seen it for a long time. I don't want it anymore. But it's good. But you guys make this job fun. What you want, Brittany? Better every day.
So, my family, I'm half Italian and half Russian Jewish immigrant, basically. And so both of those cultures, they're hairy, they're loud, and they love food, and which I completely identify with. And my grandparents were completely, formative in learning about food for me. I grew up sometime on Jewish holidays, eating my bubby's latkes and matzo ball soup with, basically full chunks of carrots, full petals of onions, and sticks of celery this big, soaking in the chicken broth with giant matzo balls, as big as your fist. And on the Christian holidays for Christmas, my grandma would make an incredible spread of spadini, which is Italian, like breaded meat. She would make stuffed shells with marinara sauce. She would make spicy meatballs, Italian wedding soup with big, like, round pasta and little tiny meatballs with tons of Parmesan cheese in them. And they would make their own fresh cannolis. They would stuff them with the ricotta themselves. It was just phenomenal. And my grandpa also taught me a lot about fresh fruit, exotic fruits like pomegranates, mangoes, papayas, weird sorts of beans, flax seeds. They're very health conscious. And even the Demori side of my family, my last name is Demori Braver, Demori is the Italians, we're known for loving to, like, citrus fruits and sour. We love to, I will always glean the lemons off of people's drinks when I'm at a restaurant and suck on them and even eat all the lemon flesh. It's kind of weird, but food was, my cultures are very formative for me in food.
I'm gluten-free. I feel bad asking people to make something special, so I usually don't. And a lot of times people don't think of it, especially like huge groups. Like, why would you think of one person isn't going to be able to eat this? I remember one night getting really upset. Like, I usually don't share with people when I get upset about not being able to eat things, but it just sucks when you're in it's hardest to go out to eat. Like, I have no trouble. Easy for restaurants to do, to just make a menu of the things that are already on their menu that happen to be gluten-free. So, like, and that's great, because then I know it's safe to order. I don't have to, like, ask a million questions and wait for the waiter to, like, go ask the chef and wonder if the chef actually knows what gluten-free is. Or, like, if he even knows what's in the stuff that he's putting in the food.
Jeez, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, because, like, as far as I know, this is the only place in Delaware that has, like, an indication of what's gluten-free and what's not on their menu.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So this is, like, the place that I feel safe, that I'm not going to get sick after I, like, go out to eat.
Yeah.
Plus, that's always nice when you can see. Like, when they're like, here it is, here are the ingredients.
Yeah.
Read it for yourself.
I'm not really, like, I don't know, if you don't know what has gluten in it or, like, what necessarily.
Well, freshman year, me and another girl who has transferred now, like, would sit down with Chartwells every so often, all the different people who worked with Chartwells, and tell them, like, listen, you don't really have anything that we can eat for lunch. Like, we're at Hamel every day and there's nothing we can eat. Like, here are the things that you can buy and keep in stock. Like, even just having gluten-free bread and bagels makes it a million times easier for us to find things to eat. And it took a long time for them to start, like, actually following through on the things that we suggested. But it's gotten a lot better.
Dennis here. I'm Rick the Noble.
Nice to meet you. I'm Ashley. And where are we right now?
We at the Delaware County Community Market.
And how was the market founded?
We wanted to open a farmer's market, but we wanted it to be open year-round. And we didn't want it to be just like anything else, so we decided to use it as a nonprofit. So we became a nonprofit entity, and that allowed vendors to come and sell their product, and for customers to become members and return 20% back to the community.
What types of items are in your store?
We have several types of things. We have a deli, full-service deli with meats and cheeses as well as prepared foods. We have produce, both local and conventional brought in. We have jewelry, gift items, scarves, lots of grocery items, honey, jelly, salsa, sauce. Most of it all produced right here locally. Our first and foremost goal is to have people eat good food. And so when we don't have local, then we have to source out. And what we call it, out of the market produce. So we go from the local to Ohio. We get what we can from Ohio. Once Ohio's out of season, then we move out to regional and finally California and Florida. And there's so much prepared stuff that they can eat. There's so much fast food stuff. And what we've tried to do is create a lunch that they can come and get that's quick and economical and good and fresh made. And so that's really our first and foremost thing, is that people need to eat good food.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ashley.